Tell me, have you been to the ruins beneath the waters of the Bounty? Or the treasure islands beyond the frozen waters of Blind Frost in Offerd's north? The fabled golden cities of the New World, the sacred sites of the forgotten people of the South Sea Isles? What about Mericidia, the southern continent? Do you know aught of its present state of affairs? I thought not. Even of your little Eorzea, you know precious little. The true identities of the 12, for instance. All of which is to say, expand your horizons, go forth and seek discovery. Some of the civilizations in the reflections will surprise you. As the bearer of Azem's crystal, you may consider your duty to see at least that much. I certainly did.
These are the words that Hades bestows the Warrior of Light at the end of Endwalker. A promise that there is more to be seen, a guarantee that there is ever more adventure to be had should you simply reach out and look for it. But exactly how many of these locations have we already gone to since he said this, and how many of them still remain even after the events of Dawntrail? Well, gather around, my friends, as today we will be exploring just that. We'll start with where we've already gone, with what we've already learned. Almost immediately after the events of Base Endwalker, the post-game sends us to the ruins of the Bounty that he generously told us first. It was here that we learned of the grand conspiracy that Ritra had created in order to hide something very particular, a stable void gate. It was with this gate that the Warrior of Light and Company would undergo a sort of void exploration and uncover more about its secrets as well as that of the Voidsent themselves. Since the entire post-game story was dedicated to this story, I will not waste your time by retelling you exactly what happened, but that this tale reveals not only what is lurking within the waters of the Bounty, but behind the shades of the 13th reflection as well. He then speaks of the golden cities of Tural, and I will be completely honest with you, my friends. I think that this is a mispronunciation or mischaracterization, simply because he says cities, golden cities as in plural. Meanwhile, in the actual expansion of Dawntrail itself, it's only ever said to be the Golden City, singular. So this may very well just be a mistyping or mispronunciation, or it could mean something more. It could be that while we have investigated the rumors of the Golden City within Dawntrail, what if there is more than one location that may fit that title somewhere located in the bounds of Tural that we have not yet explored? After all, there are many places in the far north and far south of this massive continent that we have yet to thoroughly explore. So long as there is something to be discovered, nothing is ever truly and entirely off the table, even if I do think it was just a misspoken line. And of course, he goes on about the storied history of the island of Alo, a location that we do in fact learn quite a lot about with the respective Criterion and variant dungeons. These dungeons were among some of my favorite to play, not only as a lore enjoyer, but as someone who was fascinated to learn more about the ancestral home of the Lalafell. The ancestors belonging to the Lalafell of Eorzea migrated to and from this island across its history, creating locations like the city-state of Nim, Mach, and eventually aiding in the creation of the Arcanist Guild in Limsa Lominsa. So to say that this island holds a lot of mystery and history is a drastic understatement, and that's before learning even more about these people in the expansion of Dawntrail. So the fact that Hades suggested that we explore this location is not only to me a hint that there was a lot to learn here, but an assertion that learning about this one location would tell us a dozen different things. And in my personal opinion, indeed it did. And then lastly, he moves on to the true identity and powers of the 12, in which we do learn everything we need to know during the 24-man raid series within Endwalker itself. In fact, we learn that the 12 themselves were creations of Hydaelyn, entities made to be her proxies upon the land to ensure that no matter the damage the Ascians or mortal men and women caused, that the world would still continue to heal, recover, and endure. We even learned that the 12 themselves were created in the memory of ancients that had sacrificed their very souls to help create Hydaelyn. Each of them standing as a living memory of someone who not only loved the star, but would never be able to walk its lands and experience its joys ever again. It seems to be that we've experienced quite a lot ever since the final moments of Endwalker, and most of what Hades addressed has already been looked at or explored in one way, shape, or form or another. In fact, of all the things that he discussed, we've only yet to explore 2 of them, and those are the ones that we shall discuss now. I'll start with the location that you likely know very little about, if anything at all, the location known as Blind Frost. But where is Blind Frost and what makes it so special? Well, this is a location that is right off the northern coast of the continent of Othard. Far beyond the mountains that a few Zala tribes have still making their home in, these waters are beyond treacherous. Massive ice flows, sudden blizzards, and many other natural hazards speckle these oceans, making it so incalculably dangerous that most sailors avoid these waters entirely. No one sails across the northern section of Othard to do anything. As far as I know at the moment, there is no safe way to navigate these waters without getting trapped within ice flows or wrecked upon glaciers. This is why no one sails here. But, surprisingly, Hades uses the word treasured islands of Blind Frost. This is confusing, as why would someone hide their treasures in a location that no one can reach in the first place? Well, this is not the first time we've heard of such a phenomenon, is it, my friends? The great pirate Mistbeard of Limsa Lominsa's folklore speaks of Hullbreaker Isle, an island that is normally surrounded by a thick and dense fog, an impenetrable mist that obscures the massive rocks and jagged reefs beneath the surface of the water. Unless you already know the safe way to navigate the reefs and rocks around Hullbreaker Isle, there is an extremely high chance that you will wreck and sink whatever vessel you are in. So, to the Pirate King Mistbeard, what better place to hide his treasure than a place that no one goes to? It was only later, after Hullbreaker Isle was made an official part of the Limsa Lominsan province, that the island underwent some major remodeling. But that is to say that a similar thing could just as easily be happening in Blind Frost. Someone or something using the area's dangerous waters and icy hazards as a gateway to keep people out of what is hidden there. But of course, that leaves the question, my friends. What treasures would exist there? Because as far as my records show, I have absolutely no clue who or what would leave something here. Of course, there are rumors of people and things that may or may not have come to and from Blind Frost, but nothing concrete. It could just as easily be a place that the Ascians used to house treasures of ancient society, or just like Mistbeard, a location where pirates and brigands would stow their ill-gotten goods for a later date. Or perhaps the idea of a treasure is more abstract. Instead of material items and goods, what if this is a land blessed by some form of esoteric phenomena? Ultimately, your guess is as good as mine, and I look forward to seeing your theories down in the comment section below. But of course, the second location that Hades mentioned is a spot that myself and many other players have been wanting to go to for many years now. Mericidia. This is a massive continent located in the southern hemisphere of the star, and is blessed with all sorts of mysteries and magic. The stories of Mericidia date all the way back to the Third Astral Era with the invasion of the Allegan Empire. How Bahamut and Tiamat ruled over this land together as king and queen dragons until finally, the bold and reckless nature of Allegan's expansion pushed them to try to conquer this land for themselves. Bahamut, of course, sacrificing himself in battle to try to stop this invasion, only for a primal to be made in his image at a later date. Ever since these events, there has been little to no interaction, trade, or even words from Mericidia for a very good reason. The last time anyone from the northern continents interacted with them, it was hostile, and one of their dragon lords was slain, and their primals, their living gods, were captured and studied over in Azizla. So to say that the Mericidians have no fond taste or thought for those up north is an understatement. It's very likely that from every astral and umbral era, from every generation, the people of Mericidia would pass on the stories of violence and conquest and thievery to their children, that no one from the north is ever to be trusted or interacted with. If we ever do find ourselves traveling down to Mericidia, I do not expect a warm welcome. Not at all. In fact, I expect the land to be infinitely more hostile than some locations we've already been to. While we don't know much about the land of Mericidia, we do have citations asserting that the land itself is in almost constant flux. The elements within this continent are strengthened or empowered to the point that magical phenomena is a common occurrence. A casual lightning storm might rain down with gigantic towers of levin that strike the land and rip it asunder. Perhaps fiery tornadoes will sweep across the land, purging all in its path, and so on and so forth. Whether or not there's any truth to these claims, I cannot say for certain. As I said, information to and from Mericidia has been rather speculative for the past few thousand years. But with the freeing of Tiamat and allowing her to return down south to her brood, who knows? It's quite possible that she may at some point call upon the Warrior of Light and her allies to help reseed prosperity amongst a people that have only known mistrust for thousands of years. So let me know if there is some point in the future that you want me to discuss the people that ended up summoning the Warring Triad in Heavensward to learn a bit more about Mericidia. While we may not have much, there is enough to hold a proper discussion. That I can promise you. But my friends, those are all the locations on this star that Hades encouraged us to go seek out and learn more of in the name of Azim. Now, of course, he did also state that some of the reflections that still exist at this very moment may surprise us. But, of course, any information about the reflections is mostly shrouded in complete mystery. Even when we ventured to the first within Shadowbringers, we were only getting a fraction of the civilizations, cultures, and phenomena that ever truly happened there, as everything else had been wiped out by the flood of light. So it stands to reason that we must ask ourselves, if we learn more about the reflections in the future, my friends, will we learn about the entire reflections themselves, or just small locations of each of them? I suppose that's a question for a later date, or, better yet, a question left for you. Tell me, what locations among these that we've discussed today would you want to learn more about or explore further within the future stories of Final Fantasy XIV? Do you want to travel and seek out the treasures of Blind Frost, or are you still very excited to travel southward to rediscover those who yet live within the continent of Mercidia? I look forward to hearing your thoughts down in the comment section below. But I suppose that will be all from me for now. So, as always, until next we meet, stay safe, my friends. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoy my content, it would mean the world to me if I had earned you as a subscriber. We are currently on the road to 50k, and I'd love to have you as part of that journey. I'd also like to take this time to thank my amazing Patreon supporters: Nanima, Amina Viltaria, Slippers, Ozkan Hawk, Naria O'Meara, Potato, Seth Rosewood, and Sinalv Bagel. Your support has always meant so much to me and helps to keep the content flowing with ease. If you're interested, there are additional links down in the description to my Discord, X, and other things as well. But until I see you again, I hope you're having an amazing day. Class dismissed.